You're about to discover my magic 3-step formula for selling a house fast in any market. This technique will not only put more money in your pocket, but you'll sell your house literally as fast as it can be sold. Over the past 2 decades, my team and I have perfected this approach to house selling. It's literally been tested thousands of times. Good markets, bad markets, dropping prices, rising prices, inner city, suburbia, rural, you name it. This is truly the best way to sell a house fast. The Freedom Mentor 3-step formula for selling a house is based on this fundamental truth: that your best buyers are already in the market waiting for your home. So they're already pre-qualified, and maybe they missed out on another house recently because of a bad inspection or a bad appraisal, or maybe there's a multiple offer situation that they lost, or maybe they just haven't found the right home yet. Either way, they're your best buyers because they're ready, willing, and able to buy right now. So this formula is based on attracting and locking in these buyers right here that are already there. We call them buyers in waiting. Step 1 is to attract every buyer in the marketplace, which means we have to get maximum market exposure. Everyone needs to know that your house is for sale. How are we going to do that? In residential real estate, it's real easy. We simply list it on the local MLS system. And that local MLS also needs to make sure it's propagated to the Zillows and Realtor.com and Trulia, Redfin, and any other online site. And I know in the MLSs that I work with here in Florida, there's a checkbox, and you have to uncheck the box if you don't want it to propagate. But by getting it on the local MLS, now what's going to happen is every buyer's agent in the marketplace that has any sort of reminder notification set up is going to get notified as soon as it gets listed. Meanwhile, everyone that's set up any sort of saved search in Zillow or Realtor or any of those other sites is going to get an email. They're going to get a push notification. So at the moment at which you get it on the MLS, what's happening is a whole lot of notifications are going out. Now, this is incredibly important to the formula. What we're trying to do is not only attract these people, but to get them into some sort of flurry of excitement that they need to move quickly. We don't want to lose the momentum. So when we get maximum market exposure, we're trying to activate all of these notifications, all of this buzzing going on, so that these people feel like, uh-oh, I've got to get moving. A new property's hit the market and I need to get going. You may be asking, how do you get your property on the local MLS? Well, you do have to hire a real estate agent to do that. Now, for experienced real estate professionals, those that are in my program that I teach and mentor on real estate investing, we always use a flat fee listing service. That way we only have to pay $400 or $500 flat fee rather than 2, 2.5, or 3% of the total sales price. But if you're not experienced, then you do need to hire a full service listing agent. And if you do, you might as well pick the very best one in the market. They all charge the same. Might as well pick the, quote, Tom Brady of real estate agents versus someone who's never even really played much in their life. So don't just go pick your family member or friend because they're an agent. Pick the best of the best if you're not experienced and you want to make sure that you get it on the MLS. Otherwise, if you're experienced, if you're in a program like mine, if you know what you're doing, go flat fee. It's going to save you money. Either way, you have to go through a real estate agent to get it on the MLS. By the way, some have brought up to me over the years, especially those that do a lot of wholesaling, Phil, but when it comes to wholesaling houses, I thought you were supposed to have a buyer's list. Actually, I have a video on why building the buyer's list is a waste of time. You can go into more detail on that in that video. The reality is getting the property maximum market exposure is always the best idea to sell your house for the most money the fastest. I've also seen where some like to give preferential treatment to certain buyers in the marketplace or certain agents, and they call them up and say, hey, before I get this property on the market, do you want to go take a look and make an offer? No, you don't want to do that. You want to get maximum market exposure. You want this to be like a launch. You want this to be this huge announcement where everybody gets to see it at the same time because you're trying to create competition. And we'll go into that more in the following steps. So, maximum market exposure, get it on the MLS, Make sure it propagates to all these other websites. Go flat fee if you're experienced. Otherwise, you're going to have to go full service. And if you go full service, hire a good agent. And by the way, if you do have a full service listing agent, tell them you want to follow this formula. They won't complain with you. They'll love it. They'll love if you follow this formula. In fact, I have a lot of real estate agents that tell me that they send their clients my videos and say, watch this before you hire me. So agents love this formula too. This certainly doesn't compete with what they're doing. But say that you want to follow this formula and you will sell your house faster and make more money. All right, on to step 2. You only have one chance to make a first impression. Step 2 is about having a very attractive listing. Now, that breaks down into basically 2 items: price and pictures. Okay, to a small degree is description, but that doesn't matter as much as price and pictures. So, you've heard the old saying in real estate that it's location, location, location. Well, when it comes to selling a house, it's price, price, price. Price is the most important thing you should worry over, you should struggle with, you should focus on when you're doing this process. And that is figuring out what price is going to attract these people. Because here's what's happening. These notifications are being fired off. And here's what you don't want them doing: hitting delete. Why would they hit delete? Primarily because of price. They will see that opening picture, but they're going to look, and if they are serious in the marketplace right now, they're going to know a lot about what the price should be. And what you want them to see, whether it's an agent or it's another buyer, is them to look at that and go, wow, that's kind of a good price. Oh, wow, that's kind of a good price for a nice home. Wow. That's what you want. Remember, you've got one chance at this, so you've got to make it right. The biggest mistake anyone can ever make in selling houses, and I've seen it my whole career, many of you that are watching have done this, and so you know exactly what I'm talking about, is you start your price high, and then you can always drop it later. Terrible idea. I literally have a video on this called The Kiss of Death when selling a house, and that's the kiss of death. No, you want to price it very competitively, lower than your competition. Now, with my apprentices, when we go through this process and this formula and we're trying to sell a deal, we really stress over this subject, and it takes a long time, and we look at a lot of comps, and I wouldn't have time to go into all the details of how we go about that process. But you can think of it this way: you've got to be very attractive in your price. Now, I know what you're saying, but wait a minute, Phil, I don't want to just give my house away. I've paid taxes and insurance on it for all these years. I really want to get the most out of it. You will. Don't panic. You got to trust me on this formula. What we're trying to do with a really competitive price, although it can't be too low. If it's too low, they'll think something's off. It's got to be just low enough so that it's very attractive, so you get all of these people to not delete their notifications, but to want to go do a showing. And that's really what this attractive listing is all about. We're trying to get them to schedule a showing, or I guess if you're in a vacation area, maybe they would do a sight unseen offer. And that means that the price has got to be competitive and attractive. And it also means that your pictures need to be good. They're as good as they can, because I know not every home is in perfect condition and looks so gorgeous, but you still need to get professional pictures, which you can Google for a photographer in your area. They typically do it for $50, $100, $150. And you need to have them digitally staged, where they have digital furniture added to your pictures. I have a great video on that subject as well, and that is so effective. You don't need to physically stage your house, you need to digitally stage it. And that's done once you have your professional pictures. So professional pictures with digital staging, and then price it super competitively. And now what's going to happen is all of these people that got this massive notification about this new listing, they now want to schedule a showing. That is critical. And here's also what's critical. You want them to all be showing it right after it lists. You want them to move quickly. You're trying to create that sense of urgency, because number one, it's going to have showings at the same time, or maybe right afterwards, right before, right after. You love that. When you're selling a home and someone's just left, another one's coming, another one's coming, another one's coming. We've had situations where literally the cars have been lined down the road. We love that circumstance. We want to show competition, because we're trying to create this atmosphere where they have to move, and they have to move quickly. So, right price, right pictures, attractive listing, and you've launched it with maximum market exposure, and now we're getting to step 3. You've got the marketplace right where you want it, but now you better not drop the ball. Don't screw this part up. Step 3, your first offeror is usually your best offeror. I didn't say offer, I said offeror. The person that makes the offer first. Let's ask this basic question. If you have several different offers that come in, the first one that came in is usually the person that what? Has been waiting for your deal the most. And so they know it's the right one and they want to put it in real fast so they can beat everybody else. So your first offer is usually your best. Or in cases where you only get one offer, that's usually your best. So it's so critical that at this point you don't get arrogant, you don't start thinking to yourself, wow, everybody loves my home, I can just wait until somebody offers me 100,000 more. No, this is where now you've got to get real strategic in how you make sure that your first offer's price is the highest. So remember that we started with a low price. What we're going to do here is we're going to use multiple offer situations to push that first offer up. Now, typically, if you've done this right and you've priced it right and you have the right pictures, you're going to have a multiple offer situation, which is exactly what we want. However, what if you don't? I know that there are some people that have used the technique of calling an iBuyer like Open Door, and I know they're almost out of business, but one of those iBuyers to get an offer so they can legitimately and honestly say that there's a multiple offer situation. So what's happening is the other offers could be low. They may not even be good, but one of the offers is probably going to be solid and strong, and that's the one you're trying to push up with this multiple offer situation. And also that's an opportunity, not just the price, but the terms. For example, how long the inspection period is, or if they have some sort of contingency like they want to sell their other home, or they want to extend their loan contingency for a longer period of time. This goes into, of course, a long subject of how you hone in, fine-tune, and lock down that buyer. But it's here where you don't want to get arrogant and you want to be very appreciative of what's happened. You also have to be strategic in that if an offer comes in like 5 minutes after you list it, be patient, slow walk that several days. You want to make sure you can get at least a multiple offer situation. We like to list on a Thursday evening. That way all Friday they can schedule the showings for the weekend, and that way we don't have to commit to doing anything as far as an offer until well past Sunday. And a lot of times what will happen is they'll call you and say, hey, look, if you say yes to this now, I'll submit this offer. And your answer needs to be, please submit your highest and best offer. I have a lot of showings this weekend. We want to make the right decision, and we can't do that by doing side deals. So handle this strategically. If you have a professional agent with you, they'll know how to handle it. We go into great detail in our apprentice program of how we handle multiple offer situations. And it doesn't mean that you just pick the best one. You might take the best one and still renegotiate with them on some other terms. But by doing it this way, you're not only getting a fast offer, but you're also getting a great offer, because when they have competition as buyers, they have to sacrifice certain things that they would otherwise like to have in their contract. Maybe they have to push their inspection to only 7 days rather than 14 days, or maybe they have to close in 30 days rather than 45 days. It puts you as the seller in the driver's seat when you create a multiple offer situation, or when you at least create enough showings that the one buyer who is interested knows that they have to put their best foot forward when they make the offer. All right, y'all. Well, that right there is the 3-step formula for selling a house. This is the formula we use on every deal, not just ones that we want to sell fast. This is how we make the big bucks flipping houses, because we apply this formula every single time, and it works so incredibly well. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm sure you're going to have some questions, so feel free to put those down below. If you want to learn more about how to work with me and my team to get mentored and to become a first-class, market-leading, money-making machine of a real estate investor, consider my apprentice program. Apply for that. We have some openings right now. The time is super sweet to this business because it's turned into a buyer's market, and a lot of the competition is leaving, which we love. Also, if this is a little bit over your head and you want to learn more about real estate investing in general, check out my book. I give it away for free, How to Be a Real Estate Investor. This will give you a great foundation as well. All right, y'all. Well, thanks so much for watching. By the way, I'm Phil Pustiovsky, and my company name, Freedom Mentor. And so check out my website, freedommentor.com. Or if you love my videos, do subscribe to them. I don't put them out all that often, but when I do, I pack it with wisdom. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.